Welcome back to another episode of Sentience, conversations about lives being lived. I am your host, Alison Somalita. Today's episode brings two guests together to discuss different organizations committed to similar pathways of peace and compassion. When the possibility of this episode came to me, I was struck by the alignment of how relevant the topic was for me and the impact it has had on my own life. Several years ago, I visited one of these very organizations regularly for meditation and reflection. I was in a very different place on my journey, in deep pain and so much unknown. I will always remember when I was welcomed in at the Maui Dharma Center to attend weekly meditation during this time. When I felt very alone and overwhelmed, the space that was provided to me allowed insight and inner love to come back to me in a way that I had felt blocked prior to. Sitting here many years later, and in a different place on that journey, the sense of full circle understanding within is quite pronounced. Lama Gyaltsen from the Maui Dharma Center and Edward Ellsworth of Aloha Broadcasting are here today to share their histories and specifically how Tibetan Buddhism has impacted their lives. Lama Gyaltsen was born in India. He has been the spiritual director of the Maui Dharma Center for the past 20 years. The Venerable Lama Gyaltsen Tamang was chosen by the late all-good Lama Tenzin to succeed him as resident teacher and arrived on Maui on the full moon day of June 2003. Lama received a monastic education in Darjeeling, India, and completed the 3-year retreat in his tradition, earning the title of Venerable Lama. Lama Gyaltsen represents the new generation of Tibetan Buddhist teachers in the West. He is accessible, articulate, fluent in English, artistic, humorous, and a master storyteller. Lama Gyaltsen maintains a full schedule of leading ritual, practice, meditation, and oral teachings. He serves the community as spiritual friend and mentor to people of all faiths. Edward Ellsworth is the founder of Aloha Broadcasting, a Hawaii nonprofit that is dedicated to recording performing arts and music here on Maui. He's on the board of directors of Chaksampa, a Tibetan dance and opera company in Richmond, California. Thank you so much for being here today. It is an absolute honor. Lama, if you could talk a bit about the history of the Dharma Center.
Grateful to be here in Sentience Show to speak about Maui Dharma Center. Was founded by one of the really extraordinary Tibetan master and born in 1904 in ancient Tibet. His name was Kalu Rinpoche, and he lived in India for many years. Then he traveled throughout the Europe and mainland and many parts of the Asia. Then he was invited by the Maui, the residents, and the member or islands to visit here. And I remember year was 1974. This is year of 2024, almost like it's 50 years
50
now.
years.
And so Rinpoche was very extraordinary. According to my experience, I was really privileged to stay under his guidance, under his shadow for over 19 years in India, able to train and change my life. And earlier you mentioned that trained all in the monastic educations and to really taught us how to serve in the community. And Rinpoche was really well loved. Even he was nearly 70, over 70 when he traveled. He was kind of old looking, very frail, but internally he was very strong. To share my experience, that when I was with him in India, we always thought he was an older person. We wanted to hold it and walk with him. He pretended he is very older, but actually he was ageless. So incredible being that I experienced. And then he developed tremendous inner quality. So everybody just attracted to him, being his kindness, his loving, his care, and as well his great wisdom from the Buddha, and his compassion. All age, especially many young people, just wanted to see him and receive from him some words. And he had a great reputation about his kindness, his presence, his loving, and he was perfectly fit in Magic Maui. So that was the short story to tell Rinpoche how he founded the center in Maui. We have such a wonderful gift today to enjoy and be in the presence there to receive the blessings.
It's, absolutely. And so 50 years.
Already 50 years.
Wow.
For this year.
That's extraordinary. Extraordinary. Oh, thank you so much, Lama, for sharing that bit of history. These photos that we have from the Dharma Center are just stunning. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful, peaceful space to be in, and such a gift to the Maui community. And really sharing this with the world, that this is here, in Paia town. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, Lama, if you would like to share a bit about how you came to Maui and your experience coming to the Dharma Center.
I arrived early summer in the year of 2003, and chosen by the guru, the master, the Lama Tenzin, to carry on his message and his legacy. So I was from the northwest part of the India, all in the high mountain, say over nearly 7,000 high altitude. And here I'm filled in a sea level next to the ocean. It's only maybe 200 feet away where our Dharma Center is located. And it was a really amazing experience in the beginning. I was very new to the foreign. It was my first time to come to USA. I did not speak any English. The food was different, people was a different, climate. Everything was quite challenged. And my teacher always said, wherever you go, take mind with you. Your mind you can train and adjust. The main focus is to really think about others. The purpose of the life is for others. In the beginning was harder for me to really adopt in the middle of Pacific Oceans. And that time I had the senior other lamas and some friends from my hometown. They took me around the ocean and they teased me, you're locked in now into the middle of the ocean, this small island. And I took so seriously, wow, I cannot go back to my hometown. Where am I? I was young that time, right, 34, 35 years old. And town was very different for me to really handle the energy. Everyone loves Paia town. I love very much now. And it was harder to detach my family, my friends, my teacher, my monastery, my lifestyle. So day by day, I really adapt. And the day that I arrived on Maui was June 14, 2003. I lived in this small room next to the temple. In the daytime, I had some ceremony, welcome ceremony, and then I stay in a room, and everybody would come and look at me. There's a Lama, and some young kids, they thought there was animal llamas, and they're looking for me from the screen. I thought, and then the kids saying, he's not Lama. Oh, what does mean Lama then? I didn't know about the name of the animal Lama. And so that, the memory is so strong. The Lama, there's two different animals, and in Tibetan we title Lama who qualified in the monastery. And the memory to share that evening, someone came to my window around 9:10. They're knocking my door. I didn't know who is. Just Maui person came with the long hair, no shirts, and wearing very unusual clothes, and said, we have to go. So where? I take you to some event, some show. I was very innocent, very new, and they put me in their van. The van was very unusual, very like a now they call Maui cruiser, right?
That's what I was just thinking.
Right.
Yes.
They drove me all the way from Paia to Kinikihe Road. I said, there's no houses, no lights, it's dark. Where I'm going? It's MTV van, and these two persons, I don't know who they are. I thought they're all members, they're all Dharma Center people. I didn't know the area, how big, who lived here. So they took me to the show in Wailea. It was called Maui Film Festival. And they put me in the stage, and there's a light, and they're introducing, this is a Lama from somewhere, from India, and he's going to say the blessings. There was almost thousands of people. I was like so stunned, and I was so nervous. Where am I? There next is ocean. There's all these people. I never met like this in my life, but I was able to say short prayers, and then I stayed for a little while. I didn't know what this is going on, and they brought me safely back to the room. I was very happy to be back to Lama room, and have to deal next day with someone come and see. So it is the story that first day. So far now I'm here and adopted quite well. Now it's been 20 years, and I feel very truly that the Maui no Kauai, this is my home now. That's why I'm here till today.
What an incredible journey and story and entry to Maui. That feels very Maui. That happened, and what an experience that must have been, being so new here and not knowing where you were going or who these people were, and taking you to the film festival in Wailea. That's a wonderful story. Wonderful. Would you also like to share about the stupa and how that came into your work after coming to the Dharma Center?
The idea or the aspirations, the wish from the previous, the Lama Tenzin, who conceived in this project, and right after 1 year, in 2004, we began to proceed all the local governments to get permits and etc., all the legal things. And then we got very fortunate. It moved very smoothly. We didn't got any struggle to project to start. And we started that from 2004-05. It took almost nearly 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
That was his main wish, to have this great monument or great object, the symbol of love and compassion and wisdom. It's very universal. Stupa means, in our Buddhist point of view, talk about body, speech, and mind. Mind is the most crucial part to awaken and enlighten. The stupa symbolizes the awakened wisdom and compassion. It has no words. Without words, it's touching so many people from all over the world. And we had all the volunteers involved for this project, from neighbor islands, off islands, and from Asia. They're just drawn to support. It was a really fascinating and really touching your heart that you wanted to work, because these people just wanted to give their time. They all care about the world. They all care about the love and compassion and good message to the world. They work voluntarily, summer, winter, no matter what weather it was, rainy or hot, they all work. That's the really meanings of these object, and work by not for their any profit. They all work from their heart, the service of love. And in the Buddhist tradition, we put many, many blessings inside. We call many objects very precious from the old times, hundreds and thousands years back. Many, many objects, that precious items that we put to generate the good energy to the world. And it was a really remarkable, that one great project to accomplish. And this was dedicated to predecessor for Lama Tenzin too.
I just love hearing this story, because the stupa, and in a little bit we'll show some images of the stupa. We'll talk a little bit more about it, but I'm just remembering so deeply how it came into my life. Once upon a time I lived in Paia, and I would go for walks, and it was a few years later that I started going to the meditations at the Dharma Center. But I remember when I first discovered the stupa, and it's almost like heart vibrations you can feel as you're sitting with it, and it's just, there's something very, very special about it. And as a work of art in itself, it is just absolutely beautiful, and from a spiritual standpoint and a love and emotion and compassion standpoint, I think it came into my life for a reason at that time, because I really needed that. Oh, here we have a picture of it. It's just stunning. And the way it works is you walk with you go inside of the stupa.
Correct.
And just trying to explain this a bit to the viewers, you go inside and you walk. What is the center? Is there a specific name for it that you walk with that? Is it some sort of prayer, or how would you best?
Yes.
It's like a brass cylinder.
Stupas are designed inside that small, it's a meditation room, but it's next to the highway. It's impossible to have a meditation room. And some, they have a small shrines, but I thought its prayer will be very beneficial, because anybody can just practice, come and spin the wheel. This is called prayer wheel. We installed inside like prayers we call Om Mani Padme Hum, very well known in Tibetan Buddhism. and it's a universal. It's a mantra, a prayer of loving kindness and compassion. We have over 8 million mantras inside. Special paper we printed in India. It's acid-free.
8 million.
8 millions. It's almost, the prayer is nearly 1 ton. It's very heavy inside, all prayers in it.
Oh,
And
wow.
everybody come and send the blessings. The idea of the wheel is just push it 1 time with your body weight. It rings the bell that the message to really to ripple, to affect in our universe, to
So
send
that's the
blessing.
significance.
Yes, that's the significance of
okay.
each time that rings the bell. And as much as you can. It used to be one pushed, it made over 69 revolution. It was really well designed by the board engineer. That was very fortunate. They also volunteer. They volunteer the materials. This is really intricate, the bearings.
Wow.
It was so joyful to work. Everybody contributing. Everybody has that great care about in our community, in our island, in our world. So, and then people can go afterwards, whole stupa too. The stupa symbolizes only one, but inside there is 100,000 in it. We put many miniature stupa, all blessed.
Really?
Yes. It's one spin is equivalent for 100,000 times. That's how the blessings to receive. That's the idea, to have a stupa there.
And it's open to the community. It's such a gift. Anyone walking by the center can stop by the stupa and walk with it, with the prayer wheel. They can just stand with it. It's open to the public.
7 days in a week.
That is a gift.
Yes.
That is a gift. Even if someone knows nothing about Buddhism or what a stupa signifies, what it means, what it is, there's still that ability to sit with it and feel whatever it may offer to each person.
Very much.
Wow.
And once in a while, I clean up above the stupa. There's so many messages. People come from a restaurant, people come just walk by, whatever, they have a paper, napkins from restaurants. They all write, all these papers have to collect sometime because it might cause the bearing, right? The technical might get jammed. And I read all these messages. It's really heart-touching messages. Everybody, they sending good thoughts, good wish. May prevail the peace on the earth. And some they asking for the family, some they asking for their pets to heal. It's a really wonderful. We don't have any of their background. They just touch us. Everybody needs to feel inner the love and kindness and safe to have a blessings.
Wow, just such a gift. Okay, so Lama, to expand on that, can you share a bit about what types of opportunities are available at the Dharma Center for events or meditations that are for the community or open to the community?
I mentioned earlier that 7 days it's open to the stupa. It's the same. Our temple also open for the 7 days, and garden as well, that people to reflect and have some quiet time, to have those snacks or lunch and have with the family. A small garden we provide. And then the temple, we have a weekly programs, meditations, and the philosophical oral teachings and the retreats. And also I offer the art class in the University of Hawaii, Maui campus, right? If some wanted to really learn Tibetan, this ancient art, it's a really meditative, it's very calming, very healing from the arts. We have a very intricate arts in the Tibetan Buddhism. So we offer the art class because it's not so comfortable to do in our center. I do in the Maui community campus. And we have a small guest rooms that people wanted to come and stay for a week or month to have us meditate and have experience like monastery kind of life. And we have a small gift shop too. People wanted to buy small souvenir for some Dharma object to take their remembers from the historical Paya town. This one icon is the stupa now we spoke about earlier. And these are the events we offer in the Dharma Center. And we have other major events we do 3 times a year. There's a public events. One is known as the Buddha's birthday. It's coming in May or in June, according to the lunar calendar. Sometimes it's in June, sometimes it's in May.
And you have an event at the
That's a very big event, right?
At the Dharma Center.
Dharma Center in the garden. Right.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, and do you need to be Buddhist to attend any of these events, or is it really welcome for anyone?
No, we don't have to be any background Buddhist or believer or non-believer. That's the Buddhist philosophy is about kindness and love and wisdom. Isn't it? Anybody can welcome to the temple and observe what they really wanted from our practice, and have to be very open their mind to whatever they wanted to discuss. And we have sometimes open discussions. Sometimes we spontaneously discuss about the subject of anything beneficial. And in the Buddha's message is about all for benefiting to others and illuminate their suffering. All the religions in the world, all the major religions talks about peace and happiness and joy. So we don't have to be really any specific like a background, or it have to be Buddhist. Anybody can welcome.
Well, I'm really happy to share that with the audience, because maybe some people feel like, oh, I'm not sure I can go there. And so that's wonderful to know that it's open to everyone who feels called to it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we have, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about with the Dharma Center, and that is when you welcomed the Dalai Lama several years ago. We have an actual clip of that. So if we can run the clip of the Dalai Lama visiting the Dharma Center in Paia, Maui.
Tradition, what do you say? Aloha. Yesterday I received one small note. At the beginning they mentioned aloha. At the end, maloha or something. What is that? What was that? What is that?
Thank you.
Ka. Right. Aloha. Maloha. Right. So I learned one new word, maloha. Right. Under the Ramne Vishtambrdi.
We just had a brief ceremony for the consecration of the stupa.
So a lot of people here came, and also outside. I think most of you, come out of curiosity. That's all. Then, in any case, I think warm-heartedness, there is no boundaries. Even to animals, if we show genuine, affection or warm-heartedness, they also appreciate. So we human beings, Easterner or Westerner or this or that, no boundary. So I think a smile, also no boundary, right? So we can exchange good smile, isn't it? Now here, small what's the Buddhist, center, Buddhist temple. Buddhism, like any other tradition, also you see, emphasis importance of compassion, altruism.
Wow. 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 Can you talk a bit, Lama, about how this came to be? And the Dalai Lama came to bless the stupa, correct?
Correct.
So can you share a bit about that and how this all came to be and Dalai Lama coming to Maui?
Two major things I feel really accomplished since I've been in Maui over 20 years. One was to traditional, very authentic, this architectural work for stupa to build. And then second was for His Holiness Dalai Lama to come and bless all the way from India. He only focused to come to these stupa to bless. And it was a really remarkable things to hear and to experience that moment. We heard about His Holiness talk. And other thing to share with you during his talk, you hear the helicopters are hovering around on the sky. The security was extremely tight.
That was security?
That was the security. Even helicopters are hovering around above in Paya too. And we have the sniper dogs, the bomb detectors, and all the navies and Air Force, and it was so intense.
Wow. Well, you can see the bodyguards in some of the footage.
They're undercover. Some of them with all the arms everywhere. The neighbors, we have to calm down the neighbors. They're a little bit worried and scared. What's happening here? And then Baldwin Avenue was blocked that for half a day. We felt a little bit not so comfortable. The transportation blocked, but security has to do that. From the national and the state, they really honor his visit to give one of the highest security and protection. And then after he left the consecration from the temple ground, there was a barrel all blocked. Town was all closed down. There was hundreds and thousands of people were waiting to see his glimpse. When he exit from the temple, everybody shouted. He wanted to go and walk and meet the people, but security wouldn't allow him. We had only limited in the garden for only nearly 700-800 people, but the rest of the people were all in the Paya town.
Wow.
It was a very special moment to experience.
Absolutely.
And this will be in our history in our Maui and the small Dharma center, but it's really really blessed.
On our tiny island.
Yes.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing, Lama. The Dharma Center is just, it really is a true gift in the community.
It is. Right.
And it's just this peaceful haven in the middle of Paia. And I really am very, very grateful that you are here today, Lama, and to be sharing this with the world, because I'm excited to share this with the world and let them know that this beautiful space is here, and there's so much history behind it, and so much love and compassion. So, thank you, Lama. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me to share some brief story about this.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we are going to segue into talking with Ed about a really very incredible performance group that is based in the Bay Area of San Francisco, and it is called Chaksampa, and they specifically work with traditional Tibetan opera and dancing. Is it dancing and singing? And it's just really incredible material that I'm excited to highlight with Ed today.
So I was introduced to Tibetan dance and opera by Tsering Wangmo, the artistic director of Chaksampa, when I traveled with her to India, to Dharamsala and to the settlement camps down in southern India in Bailakupe. And Tsering trained for 10 years at the Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts, so she's a very skilled opera singer and a dancer and a dance instructor. And she's the cream of the crop of the Tibetan artists train in Tepa in Dharamsala, and then they go out into the world and they share their talents with the rest of the people.
Okay, so you met in India.
No, we actually, we knew each other in California, and she was traveling to India, and she wanted me to travel with her and her daughter, and so we had an opportunity to travel, starting in 2000, all over India, and seeing the Tibetan settlements in southern India, and seeing the capital of Tibet in exile in Dharamsala.
Mm. And so the Tibetan performing arts, so it's known as TIPA? Is that
TIPA is the Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts, and that's where these performing artists and dancers and musicians and singers train for 10 years before they're considered skilled enough to go out in the world and share their arts, yes.
Wow. And so with Chaksampa, do all of the performers come from Tepa, or are a lot of them trained in Tepa and then they come to Chaksampa? I'm just trying to understand this all.
If they're older artisans, they were actually trained in Tibet.
Wow. And so some of these artists have trained in Tibet, but many of them are through Tepa.
Well, in Tsering's case and many other ones, they're the second and third generation away from Tibet, and they grew up in India.
Okay.
And then they traveled to Dharamsala to be enrolled in the Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts, and then training in the various instruments, the various singing styles, the various dancing styles, and until they could perfect their art.
Mm. Well, we have a clip of some of the performers from Chaksampa, so if we can run that so we can give the viewers an idea of what Tibetan opera is like. Can we please run that?
take this opportunity and thank especially all my artists. Not only we celebrate our culture, we celebrate our artists. These are the artists, backbone of our community. They go back and they teach on their day off, teach to our younger kids. You know, Bay Area we have master artists who teach us at the Tibetan Association. Just like that, they all are community leaders. And I especially wanted to thank my opera master, Sonam Pinzo, and the artistic director of Tiba, Lobsang Samdela. They are the ones who lead us and weave us in the story so that we can present it to you. And then also I wanted to thank each and every one of the artists. They make a huge difference to this performance. Without each of them, we cannot present this to you. And also, without your funding, we cannot perform. So there is so many things together, and I'm very grateful.
Wow, that is, it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful. Now, have they ever come to Maui to perform?
No, it'd be wonderful if we could have Chaksampa or some of the artists and singers and dancers from our group come. A lot of these artisans, though, are scattered throughout the world. They may have started in India, they may have been born there, trained there, and then if they're good, they may be offered citizenship in Canada or the United States or Switzerland or somewhere else. So then they travel to those regions and they continue to teach and share those arts in those areas.
Maybe put the energy out there for Chaksampa to come to Maui, because what a gift to be able to experience that. I am now putting that on my life list to be able to see Tibetan opera in person. There's so much emotion in it and just so much beauty. So, wow.
Well, thanks for your encouragement, and let's hope that vision comes true. I'm sure that my Tibetan artist friends would love to come to Maui and present to an audience here.
Wow, yes, it would be extraordinary. Absolutely, Ed. Okay, well, would you like to talk a bit about the Dalai Lama, the observance of the 50th anniversary of His Holiness assuming state responsibility that was celebrated in India, and just a bit about your work with that and with the Dalai Lama?
Well, first I think I'd like to start by saying that Chaksampa means bridge builder, and I've always seen His Holiness Dalai Lama as a bridge builder. He's definitely going out there and uniting communities with what he has to say about compassion and how he is such a calming and influential figure in the world. But in terms of the Dalai Lama's, my first observance of him was seeing him in Dharamsala, which is considered to be the capital of Tibetan exile. So when I saw him in Dharamsala, he held his audience from the temple, and all these artisans came from all over India and Nepal and Kathmandu and Tibet to present to the Indian audience that was there. And just like Lama has told you before, the security was very, very extreme. You know, everyone is so protective around His Holiness.
And you also were present when he received his honorary PhD, is that correct?
Right, that was in San Francisco. I was at the University of San Francisco, and he was offered an honorary PhD, and I was in the Tibetan and Mongolian audience, and he presented in Tibetan there, of course. And unfortunately, I also got the opportunity to be very close to His Holiness backstage, and he came and he's just so gracious, and he blessed all the performers and all the people that were getting ready to go out and perform for him on the stage. But and then afterwards, after we heard him speak and present to our audience, unfortunately I was not allowed to go to the English-speaking audience because of all of the metal detectors and the 30 Secret Service that were out there. They just very tightly control the space around him when he's presenting, when he's showing up, when he's present.
But what an opportunity to have had even a few moments
Yes.
in that space.
Yeah, it was. And I didn't get a chance to really tell you more about Chaksampa. The reason we chose that name was because in Tibet, the traditional opera masters would go from community to community, and they'd hold these benefit concerts, and they would actually raise the money to build bridges between the communities. And so Chaksampa means bridge builder. So
Literally
they would
means
actually
bridge builder.
literally build a bridge, let's say over a river gorge, so that people could go back and forth and visit each other and go to markets and be able to connect with each other's families and friends.
I love that. Bridge builder. And that can just take on so many meanings of literal building a bridge, and also this global reach of the human experience. And so it just seems like such a fitting name. Bridge builder, Chaksampa. Okay, now in terms of Chaksampa's work, so they do the Tibetan opera and the performance. Is there other types of work that they do in the community that they're based in, or is it strictly performances?
Well, Chaksampa is based in Richmond, California, and it's very close to the Tibetan Association of Northern California, or TANC for short. So together they do community performances, they do community education, they do events where they share traditional Tibetan food, like where they would sit down and enjoy momos. It's a traditional kind of Tibetan dumpling. And then Chaksampa will also perform at the Himalayan Fair, which is in Berkeley, and that gathers a lot of different cultures from around the Himalayan area, the Himalayan mountains, and presents them to, it's been, I think, maybe over 20 years in the San Francisco Bay Area community. And then often these artists that are in Chaksampa go out and teach either Tibetan or Tibetan cooking or Tibetan dance or various aspects of the Tibetan dance and opera performances when there are people that are wanting to receive that teaching.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing about Chaksampa. It's just really an extraordinary organization, and I really do hope that they can come to Maui, because what a unique experience that would be to have that here on the island. So.
Well, that would be wonderful, and I'd love to be able to record that. I've always loved recording them when they're performing, and I did record, for instance, the Richmond festival that we performed and live streamed for over 2 days. And eventually I'd like to put together a documentary called Bridge Builder, and to be able to show how the Tibetan culture has been reaching out and building those ties of peace.
I love that. I love that. So it wouldn't be a documentary about Chaksampa. It would be
I think
bigger,
I think it'd be much bigger than that.
Bigger picture of that, with maybe some
the whole.
I'm already seeing it coming to life, Ed. I can see
the whole significance of the cultural impact of Tibet on the world, and especially how important they have been in terms of the values of peace and compassion, and keeping those foremost in people's minds.
Absolutely. Oh, I really hope that comes to life, Ed, because that sounds like just the perfect documentary to be creating right now in life. And I really wish you the best with that, because it sounds wonderful.
Well, thank you, Alison.
I do wish you the best. I would love to watch that and learn more. Okay, well, as expected, our time has gone by very quickly, and so we will need to wrap up the show. But is there any final thoughts you would like to share, Ed or Lama, about your work, or anything that you would like to share or say?
It was really wonderful to be here today And here, the Chaksampa foundations and art and culture to promote. Even these peoples are all scattered throughout the many parts in the world to bring all together. In Tibetan Buddhism, it's not only in the practice in the monastery, in the study, it's a culturally supports to keep alive. Culture is very, very important to have, and of course language. And Ed will mention about food, the Tibetan, the dumpling, make me a little hungry. It's past our lunch hour. So I'll say thank you again, and may everything always be well and positive, and may prevail peace in our world.
Thank you, Lama.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'd like to say that even when we're not in our home country, either Lama is not from where he came from, he's embraced this new land of Maui, being the best, Maui no Ko'oi. And same with myself. I originally come from Nagasaki, and I've embraced Maui as my home. And so everywhere we go, we create home and we create aloha.
To learn more about the Maui Dharma Center, you can visit maui-dharmacenter.org, and we will have the website up on screen. And to learn more about Chaksampa's work and their performances, you can visit chaksampa.org, or you can contact Ed directly at alohabroadcasting@gmail.com, and those will be up on the screen as well. Thank you so much for joining us for Sentience, Conversations about Lives Being Lived. All episodes can be watched on Akaku channels in Maui County and streamed everywhere on the Akaku Maui Stream app. You can also view all episodes on our YouTube channel, Sentience, Conversations about Lives Being Lived, and you can look it up as @Sentience Show, and as well as Instagram, which is also @Sentience Show, for updates, guest highlights, and opportunities to be on the show. I am Alison Samalita, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you.